And welcome back to Mucky Hope Productions Survivor 49 recap. We are joined by Jake and Vee. As always, Vee is putting her dog out right now. Jake, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah. I can lift my arm about here. I'm not wearing the sling because it's very frustrating to just wear it. So it's still what it is. But recovery's coming along well. Episode wise, I feel like we're kind of going through the motions right now. It's pre-merge. I feel like it was kind of telegraphed where the episode was kind of headed. But we're going to get to all of that. Vee, how are you doing?
I'm good. The dog is outside. The dog was sniffing around and made me nervous.
Okay. So what do we think of the episode overall before we get into what actually happened?
I think it was pretty good for the standards of, like, I mean, come on. We knew that it was what was going to happen. It was going to be either Matt or Jason, and that's what happened. And for that, I feel like we got to learn more about some of the, I think about Jason specifically, and we'll get into that. And it was interesting. I probably would have rather the other tribe go to tribal because I want to learn more about Hina. I want to learn more about what's their dynamics and who are they, what are they feeling? And I feel like we didn't get that because they just won again,
Yeah. And it's entirely possible that they could. I mean, I do feel like the tribes are kind of even now, but it is entirely possible they could win out until the next phase of the game. Vee, how about yourself?
I think Gabe sort of sums it up for me with we got two tribes and the vote was still obvious. I was even like, I was kind of hoping that Kelly wouldn't win because I knew that if Hina went to tribal, I knew Matt was going. So I'm like, I don't want it to be obvious, man. And so as soon as that I was like, oh, well, then I guess Matt's going home. But so it was a little bit of an obvious boot for me, but that's okay. Yeah. Danica says, I was sad to see. I kind of was as well. He was one of those interesting characters, and I love a character. I love a contestant that's over 40 as well. So I'm always sad to see an over 40 go.
I wasn't the biggest Matt guy. biggest Matt guy, and I'll get to a little bit why later. But we got a lot of Matt content this episode, which to further your point, it's like it was. I feel like pretty obvious that he was going to go, and I feel like they didn't try to hide it either. Like they did try to throw the red herring of, oh, maybe it's Jason. It's like, well, it's not going to be, but we have to. We don't want to make this one of those Rome boot episodes where it's like, no, we are telling you Rome is going home in this episode. This was kind of like, yeah, it's going to be Matt, but like maybe not. So we do get a swap, and I know that y'all both brought that up last week. We do get a swap, and Jeff, for some reason, and tell me if you guys noticed this, he never said swap. He's kept saying tribe switch, which I've never heard him say before, and he kept referring to it as that. I don't have to actually talk about it, but it's the first thing in my notes is why is he calling it a tribe switch? Do you feel like the swap? Well, I guess. How did you think about the breakdown of the swap? And then I want to talk about the swap as a concept. Like, do you feel like every season needs one? Do you feel like,
I love it when they swap or switch. I'm curious now as to the semantics of the difference between swap and switch, if there is now.
Probably nothing. It's just the way he just kept saying it. I'm like, just say swap.
Are you trying to make switch happen, Jeff? Are you trying to make it happen?
You can't make switch. Yeah, switch is never going to happen, Jeff.
I thought it was it looks pretty good. It's good that Alex and Sophie were given a fighting chance by being split up, because I think if they'd gone together, they would have been seen as a power couple, and that would have been bad for both of them. So I felt like they got a little bit of luck by, even though Sophie insists she didn't get luck. But yeah, I thought that was really good. I wish it had been maybe a bit 3-on-3 on either side, though, because then it would, you sort of go, okay, well, next week Jason's probably on the chopping block, and then or Sage and Shannon are gonna. So that's a little bit disappointing because, again, I don't really like it when there's an obvious boot where it's obvious what's going to happen. But yeah, how about you, Jake?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say probably that this swap resulted in probably the most boring result that we could have seen, which is clear majorities on both sides. Even if the minority gets Alex or Sophie on their side, they still don't have the numbers. So that sucks, you know? And I wish that, you know, like I was hoping that like Jawan would maybe get something to happen because he was on the bottom and he even said it himself. He's like, totally. If we would have gone to tribal, I was cooked, as in his words. Or I wish that, you know, it would have been this situation, but Sage, who she also was like, yeah, you know, I'm not feeling it with these guys. You know, they feel like I'm on the outs. And we didn't get that. So sucks. But I still feel like we learned a fair bit about these guys, you know, regardless of that.
Yeah. Yes, this is probably the worst swap that we could potentially get. I do think, and Jeff says, and do we buy that the swap was always going to happen? They just pushed it back because of what had happened?
I don't know, because it's precedented that they do the switches or the swaps. But I don't know. I don't know, Jeff.
Well, anyway, we don't get a challenge, and we get back to these camps, and Sage with the blackheads. Just, I think that's like 3 or 4 episodes in a row that Sage has done or said something that's like, okay, you're an odd duck. But this was actually the first episode where I actually felt I cared about her, because she now has this weird one-sided rivalry. So yeah, she says that, and then all of a sudden we don't hear any other type of weird thing from Sage for this episode. Now it's like, this is game mode Sage, and she has her targeted in sight. Jake, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and but I'm also like, I mean, come on, Shannon's just playing the game, you know, like she's got to do what she got to do. And you know, if you think that, you know, like invoking religion is, you know, wrong or icky, I get that, but I think she found a crack, or she found her little way in, and she's just really, you know, playing it up. And so I get, you know, feeling annoyed by it because it's like, crap, you know, I didn't find that, you know, and now I'm just screwed. But yeah, I think it's funny that like Shan has no idea, you know,
yeah.
Like, no idea. It's just like you said, completely one-sided. But she's doing what she got to do.
Vee?
Yeah, I think, you know, Sage could read the writing on. I think they both can read the writing on the wall that only one can continue, that they don't have any sort of foothold to get anything going together. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Shannon, everyone seems to be using the cultist coach ways. Shannon, yeah, everyone seems to be drinking the Shannon Kool-Aid, except for Steven. Steven was dubious. So yeah, I think Sage might be on the outs. I can't remember what your question was ages ago, so I don't know if that answers.
The Sage Shannon rivalry, that's not really a rivalry because it's one-sided. And just, I mean, if we want to talk about the Blackheads briefly,
No, I'm good.
I've heard of people collecting a lot of stuff in my day, even nasty stuff like fingernails or like hair, pieces of hair or whatever. I've never heard that, and I don't understand really how the science works behind it. I guess.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, leave it alone.
I thought once it's out, it's gone. I don't know.
Leave it alone.
I just wanted to draw your attention. Sorry to with Gabe has an interesting point about the he says blue versus red, but he means yellow versus red. That rivalry still going. It's an interesting thought to see if tribes are going to throw challenges to sort of, try and keep the numbers on that side.
What are we at right now?
So we have 6 original Uli and 5 original Hina.
So we're at 13 left.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably, one episode away from the merge?
It's probably going to be one more tribal and then the mergatory.
Yeah.
I could see it happening. I don't know. Like, that's one of those things. It's like, okay, your best option is just to not go to tribal because of, especially in the new era where you don't know what types of advantages out there. Now, right now, it doesn't seem like there's that many or that crazy of an advantage out there but they don't know that because they've been trained for the last 4 or 5 years to think, oh, there's definitely going to be all of this stuff out there, not even including the shot in the dark. Throwing a challenge is a solid strategy if you are good, and even then, I wouldn't be shocked. I guess I'll say it like that. I wouldn't be shocked if they threw a challenge. Either way.
Yeah, and I think that it's risky, obviously, because if the minority is able to get Alex on their side, that's 3. Then they only need to flip 1, and who knows? I mean, you don't know what everyone is thinking. You can only be so sure. You can only be so confident in what people are telling you. Maybe one of these people actually hates all of you and wants nothing to do with you, and they'll just go with the rest of them. So it's super risky. But I mean, if let's say Kelly loses again and they just take out Jason, and Sophie is pretty much an Uli now, right?
Yeah, you mean Hina.
So,
and they take out Jason. They're on Hina now.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. So that's really rough. That's 6, or that's 7. That's 7 right there. And if you're going into the mergatory at 12, right?
Yep.
If they vote 1 more, right? That's 7. That's a majority right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Pick off. Boop, 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 boop. So I would say, if I were them, I would throw it. I would take the risk. I think that it's a really high risk, high reward move. I really do. And especially keeping Jason, who we have been shown in this episode is completely loyal to Hina, so much so that he's not even willing to lie to these people about it, which I was
weird.
I was sitting there, jaw on my floor, like, what are you doing? I was almost like I'm really not trying to be like rude, but like that was pretty bad in my opinion. I thought it was kind of a miracle that they decided to keep him. I mean, it was what Savannah was saying of like, you guys said it was a red herring. I really thought it was a genuine, like, should we actually just get rid of Jason? This guy has no future of working with us. He told us himself.
Yeah, straight up said.
So I thought that was like a real discussion. And I really think that it was Nate who was pushing Matt because Matt threw out Nate's name. And who likes that? Who wants to keep that person around who's trying to take you out? So I think that Hina, like, if they lose again, I think they genuinely might be screwed. Genuinely.
It's definitely possible. And you phrasing it like that. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like because Matt was getting a lot of content along with the fact that his name was out there, I think that's where my mindset was of like, okay, it's clearly him, right?
Yeah, kind of like a breakout episode right before he's...
Yeah, all we knew about him was the old white guy with dreads, which...
Yeah.
Moving to Savannah and Matt real quick. Savannah says she's a naturally curious person and asked Matt what he did for a living before what he does now. And in my notes, I say, can he ask him why he's a white guy with dreads? She didn't ask him that, but it turns out that he was a financial analyst or he worked in finance, basically. And now all of a sudden he's this big threat because he worked in finance. And apparently that makes him a sociopath. According to Savannah, he's a sociopath because he got high up in finance, which I've never worked in finance, but I'm sure there's some lovely people in there. I mean, what do you think about the scene as a whole?
It was like weird on both sides. I think that like Matt saying, oh, I wasn't going to tell anyone this. Why would you say that? Like, that's just making you look suspicious for no reason. Yeah. Right. Like, I think that Matt is somebody who came in to the game. And we saw this when they were on their original tribes. What he said to MC was, we already have a 3. We want to bring you in. That might sound innocent, but it's not when you really read between the lines what people are saying, which is what people do on the show and in this game. You have to read between the lines of what everyone is saying, know what their intentions are, and what they're brewing up in their head, which was, we already have an established 3, and you're just kind of tagging along because we need a majority, right? And the same exact thing happened here where he's like, oh, I wasn't going to tell anybody this. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, I'm not in that world anymore, right? So he's probably just thinking like, oh yeah, that's just what I used to do. Right now, I work
back then, and
yeah. I had normal hair for a white person.
Yeah. I had Jake's hair. Like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Quick finance.
Out of nowhere.
You know what?
Once I started working at the airport, it just appeared.
I wanted to come off as eccentric, so.
Yeah. No, but really, like, he probably didn't realize, like, that if you, like, read into what you're saying, why wouldn't you want to tell us that? Why weren't you planning on telling us what you did before? Is it because you're trying to hide this side of yourself that's truly a mastermind and, whatever? And it's like, on both sides, it's like, guys, we don't need to take everything and try to extrapolate it into something like profound and like reason of why we need to take them out because they're going to slit your throat later in the game. Like, but also like Matt should have realized, just don't say stuff like that. Like, I wasn't going to tell anybody this, right? Yeah. Like, that's just bad phrase on Survivor.
Shady, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's something that Matt came into this game just not understanding that aspect of Survivor, because the 2 biggest mistakes we saw in his game were like in that realm.
100%. And his other mistake is something that we'll talk about in a second. V, what did you think about Matt kind of navigated this whole thing before they inevitably lose the challenge, the immunity challenge?
Just be cool, man. Just go, yeah, I worked in finance. Didn't everyone? Yeah. Just be cool about it. Yeah. Like
anyone
Jake
would have
said,
batted a knife. He just did that.
He made it weird. Why make it weird? It's just what you did. I also want to have a chat about some of the comments that have come up. Danica says, Matt was all over the place with his conversations. And I noticed that too. And we'll get to that as well. When he was hustling, it was just like, boop, 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 boop. Georgette says, glad to see Jake again. And I'm assuming that's this Jake and not the Jake that we saw in the recap at the start of the episode who got bitten by the snake. I'm assuming
previously we killed Jake.
Coach Drew hung up on these dreads.
I'm really hung up.
It's weird. It's definitely weird.
And Danica also made the point, is Blue Sophie at the bottom, though? Not the best strategy. If they all regroup at merge, then she'll be one of the first cut, which we could have a chat about. What is Blue Sophie's strategy come merge?
I mean, what else are you supposed to do? I mean, you cannot rely on your original tribe. You have two. You have one other person. So,
well, I think that's what Danica was saying. If they were to throw the challenge, it might, maybe Sophie should be working Jason a little bit more as well, keeping her options open.
Yeah, I know. I would agree with that. I mean, yeah, you gotta, you can't just like fully buy in on Uli. Like if they don't lose and Jason moves on, then yeah, you got to try to keep some sort of working relationship with him just in case. I would agree with that.
So we get to the immunity challenge, which was, once again, I just feel like most immunity challenges, I don't care. I don't care. This one, like, the stacking was pretty cool because they have to figure out who to put.
That was cool.
Yeah. But inevitably, we have Matt's tribe lose. And then it becomes basically, is it going to be Matt or is it going to be Jason in the eyes of the audience? And it turns out probably in the eyes of the people that are actually playing with them, because it does seem like we're being very Navidi strong. There's a mosquito. We're going to be very Navidi strong here. So we're getting to strategizing. And Matt, I feel like he jinxed himself. I don't like the way that Sandra played the game. Anyone but me. And he says it 2 or 3 times in the whole episode. What did you guys think of just the strategy? I know we've kind of touched on it here and there throughout this. But once again, it just felt like everything just felt weird.
I mean, like you said, like the comment, I forget who said, I think it was Danica, that he was just all over the place, which is totally true. I mean, he first tries to go to Nate and say what you just said. I don't like how Sandra played the game, but I'm here doing exactly what she did. Anyone but me. And that's what he tells him, like, anyone but me. Like, if you come to me and ask me to vote for somebody, as long as I'm safe, I'll do it. Which, yeah, that's what you should be doing, I think. I mean, like I said, if you can't, even with Sophie, like I was saying, you still don't have the numbers. So if you are assessing the situation and seeing like, no, those 4 are unbreakable, then yeah, your only option is to just offer your vote for them. And that's what it looked like he was doing at first, which I was like, okay, yeah, that's what you do. And then he goes to Juwan and says, let's team up with Sophie and Jason to vote out Nate. And Juwan, I was buying his action.
Yeah, I was buying it too.
I was like, oh, interesting. Something's about to happen? Really? Yeah. And then he cuts to him in confessional laughing at what he's saying. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then he even admits that he's on the bottom. And I'm just like, that's weird. Weird stuff from Juwan, too, in that.
And Savannah even says in her confessional, like, yeah, he kind of is. But
yeah, he kind of is. I thought that was funny. Where it's like,
at least he knows.
Matt, yeah, like, I don't even know if Matt, like, she thinks that Matt was saying that to Juwan, but really was Juwan saying that to Matt, that he was on the bottom. And so it's like, whoa, wait, really? Juwan knew? He knew that whole time, which is something that I think we asked ourselves in one of the previous episodes, where it's like, they're talking about how he's on the bottom. Does he know? And it seems like he did. So going from talking to Nate and telling him, I'll vote for whoever, then going to Juwan and saying, I want to vote for Nate. Yeah, that's not very smart.
Especially there's a bottom and then there's being in a minority on a swap. So, and I think that I won't say that's what cost him. I do feel like he was probably going to go home for a lot of this. But once again, just things like that. I do want to talk about how Savannah, and I think is warranted, Savannah doesn't want Jason here because he doesn't want to play with everyone.
Yeah.
Rizzo kind of, I almost called him Riz God, I guess, whatever. Rizzo's like, yeah, okay, I kind of agree with you. She's like, oh, I think it's too late. I know we've talked about it already where we have one person in Matt who has outright put out somebody's name, and we have Jason who more saying, hey, I'm not really going to want to work with you. I'm going to stay Navidi strong. For you guys, just you specifically, which one is more dangerous to you in your head as a player? Which one would you want to kind of say, okay, we could probably nip this in the bud now?
Well, I agree. When Jason was like, you guys do what you want, I'm going to play my shot in the dark. I get it. He was trying to make himself unpredictable so that they would be like, oh, we better not vote for him. I get it, but it backfired because, it worked, but not for that reason. And it just, now he has to go forward. What's he going to say that again next time? Yeah. And now Savannah's like, well, I can't work with him, you know.
And he didn't play a shot in the dark.
He didn't play a shot. He should have just played it, honestly. He should have just played it. And then at least he could have the next week gone, well, I don't have that. I'm ready to work with you guys. Or I guess now he can say, look, I did work with you guys.
Or he hits it next week.
Guys, I can't even with what Jason was doing. I was rolling my eyes. I was just like, what are you doing? Especially when I saw that he didn't play a shot in the dark. He voted for Matt. He didn't even vote with Matt. What was the point? It
would have been better if he had even voted with Matt. Then he could have at least been like, I believe in my tribe, and going down with the ship. But I think he panicked. I think now it just looks like
anything he says is just like whatever. Like you're not. I'm not even going to take anything you say with any semblance of truth because why? I don't know. Like it was really bothering me. I personally like if I was out there and I was Savannah or I was Rizzo, I would have voted him out just because what he was doing was pissing me off. Like you're not even trying to play the game. He literally told them, I have my loyalties on my former tribe and I'm going to stick to that. What? Like, what game do you think we're playing right now? I don't know. I was annoyed.
Matt's hot. If everyone that doesn't follow Dalton Ross, he did his, I guess it's now season, annual hot takes. I think they started like 2 seasons ago. Every cast member's hot takes on Survivor, and Matt's is idols are overrated. I think that, yeah. I have it written down, but I think Matt had his as idols are overrated. I
thought his was Chris Underwood.
Not Matt. Jason.
Oh, Jason. Yes.
Jason. Yeah. Matt's was Chris Underwood is a deserving winner, and if you win, you deserve it. I think somebody else put that on theirs as well. So I know I sent this to y'all right before we went live, but did you guys see any that shocked you based off of who was showing it?
Wait a minute. Here we go. I'll bring it up for y'all.
I thought the showmance one was interesting from Savannah, given that she mentions that she has a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I was like, huh? Why are you thinking about showmance as if you if you're in a relationship? I don't know. I thought that was funny. Again, especially given her and Rizzo have a pretty close relationship. I'm not saying I'm not saying yeah, I'm not trying to insinuate.
No,
yeah. But I think it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, the ones that really stood out to me, anything that deals with, so for instance, we have contestants should not be forced to risk their vote, should always be a choice. Yes. And that's a new era player saying that. And these are the people that have been sitting at home watching this show for the last 4 years and have, I'm going to assume, be as annoyed as the rest of the audience has been at that one aspect of the game of just losing the vote. And I don't think no one has lost their vote yet this season, right? Am I making that up?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Everyone, like, it was only Rizzo and Alex, like, temporarily, right? And then they were able to get it back.
And so, just if y'all haven't gotten a chance, go look at Dalton Ross's account on the Survivor 49's hot takes. I think there's only one. This one. This one is the only one that, and it just happened that this post came out like the same week she got voted out. So good riddance. Yeah, everyone knows how I feel about that. Everything else was either harmless or wrong, but not to an insulting degree. Like Russell is awesome.
Am I the only one who doesn't know what the margarita curse is?
I've never heard.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that either.
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of the car curse.
I've heard of like stuff with the intro video, like if you show up in this spot and this, that, and the other.
Who's that? Sorry,
it's Sophie. That's why I'm saying there is somebody named Sophie on this season that she actually spoke this episode about the reward sucking, which I thought was
I know. That's all we heard from her. It was like, I don't want the fruit. I want carbs.
And I was like, listen, if you care at all about returning for another season, you shouldn't say that to Jeff. Don't say that to Jeff. But I agree with her.
This one was kind of he got his come up.
This is funny because he's misspelling should have. So it's just like a dumb take as he's misspelling.
Did he?
Should have. It should be should have.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I was like, should. I was like, did he spell should wrong?
I guess it's not really. He didn't. It's not that he didn't spell something right. It's that he just didn't use the right grammar. Yeah. And also, like, why should Sam have won? Like, why?
Yeah,
I'd love to hear any reasoning of why Rachel didn't deserve to win. I think it was one of the most obvious, most deserving winners we've had in a while.
Yeah. But getting back to the
and look, Nicole uses should have.
Yeah.
There we go. Just if we want to be grammar Nazis.
Yes. You know what? And I'm probably going to talk about it a lot more next summer, but like when people talk about how, advantages and this, that, and the other is ruin the game, and they always pinpoint like 41 onwards. It's like, this stuff started in like season 11. Like this stuff didn't just we didn't just all of a sudden get advantages now. Advantages have always been a thing. And I think that the immunity idol obviously was that first step. Now, I don't hate immunity idols or anything, but death in the game. I
think that's become true now. If you look at the new era, who's the only person that's won that has actually utilized an immunity idol? Rachel, who we just talked about. I think that's the only one.
I mean, I guess Marianne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fair. But that's kind of it. And so I don't think that this is a crazy take. I think that this is like one that I probably personally disagree with, but it's a fair take.
Yeah. So we get to tribal. Oh, rice would be nice. We get to tribal, and once again, and I know that, and it's crazy because it does seem like we are split on who we thought was actually going to go, which I'm glad to see that. Like it wasn't a universal thing that everyone thought that Matt was going home.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, at what point during this did you like? Was it all the way up to the votes being read? Because the votes were pretty split.
It was more so. It was after the conversation. I more so meant it as like they really were in that moment. Like that was a real convo. It wasn't like they were just saying it. Like the editors didn't add it in there just to misdirect us. It was actually a real conversation that they were having of like, should we actually switch it? Like we have enough time, but also like it'd be like kind of a hassle to do that. Because like they both realized, wait a second, we both agree that Jason should actually be the one. Wait, why didn't we talk about this before? That's all I meant. So I guess it was. I did think that Matt was going. I definitely did. But I thought that there was like a still small chance that it could have been Jason, but not very much.
Okay. So Matt goes home. I think Jason leans over to Savannah, I want to say, and says, thank you. Or no, who does he thank? I think it's Savannah.
Missed that.
Oh, you missed that?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Always happens to me. It's a common theme. I'm writing notes and
and then
those little tiny micro aggressions. I don't.
Jason leans over and thanks someone on the tribe for saving.
I think it was Savannah.
Okay.
Savannah. Yeah.
Which is ironic.
But didn't Savannah vote for him?
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of y'all have raised this point a lot during this, and I feel like we will see the other shoe drop next week because of how Jason handled everything this time and how much Savannah distrusts him because of the things that he has been saying, that could come to a head. And sadly, we know that Savannah's probably going to come out on top of that because allegedly, probably, will be on 50. We know that if that were to come to a head, it would probably be Jason that goes out in that moment. Before we start to wrap up, the idol search. Rizgod got his idol, and everyone helped him get his idol, and we don't really see anyone not try to. Like, everyone is saying, yeah, we're doing this to get Rizzo the idol.
We'll get his vote back was the main.
Yeah, fair.
Which made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this more of a tribe strong strategy of like, hey, like or is this everyone trying to be on Rizzo's good side? Or I guess it could be a bit of both.
I think oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think, look, I was dubious until I was like, they're trying to steal his idol. Not, I knew that the idea behind it was just making sure that Rizzo had his vote just in case Matt did come up with an idea that people wanted to jump on. I saw this as, okay, we're going to see maybe not Savannah, Nate, Rizzo, and Yawan as a type 4, but Savannah and Rizzo as a type 2. I think this is the story going forward, potentially a type 3 with Nate. Like, I think this solidifies that they are really willing to stick together. And I think they're going to have the opportunity to do so. And I think, when Rizzo was like, oh, yeah, thank you. I'm like, oh, what we didn't see any sort of indication of him going, what, you guys looking for my idol without me? You're looking for it without me? It was like, oh, great, you did that. Fantastic. So absolute trust was there. And Savannah, let's face it, she's the ringleader. So he clearly has absolute trust in Savannah that he would be happy with her looking for his idol without him.
Even the way that Savannah gives confessionals, it's like, yeah, she is the main character of this entire thing.
Yeah.
It just, and it's not like she's like sitting on a pedestal, like a literal pedestal, like elevated or whatever. She's sitting pretty much in the same spots that everyone else is. It's just, maybe it's the way she carries herself, and everything just screams, yeah, she's in charge. She's the main character.
Yeah.
And, for a lot of people, she is the winner pick.
And I think Gabe sums up that this group is probably going the furthest. They've gotten the bigger edits.
Yeah.
And that's sort of why I think it as well. And I was going to say something and it's completely gone out of my head. Wouldn't it have been great if Matt had gotten something going to target, potentially Nate or even Savannah, with Yohan, with Sophie, with Jason? Wouldn't it have been good and interesting and exciting?
Sure.
But instead it was an obvious boot. Anyway, it's
pre-merge. Like it's pre-merge in a season where we know two of the people that are going to make it far. So even if he did try to put it on Rizzo or Savannah, it's like, well, that's not going to work.
No, that's true.
That's not.
Yeah, that was the only thing. That was the only thing that was like making me think, because it was Nate that he brought up. I was like, okay, wait, maybe because it wasn't one of them.
Any final thoughts on the episode? I know it's pretty pedestrian, but we turned it into 45 minutes of content.
41 on
good on us.
By the time we're done, it'll be 45.
I love a tribe swap. Danica made the point of, do you really think they had a competition set up, but because of losing 2 players in one episode, they had to scrap it? Seems like a lot of work for a fake out. I wondered, when I was watching that, if it was going to be a situation where one person got the gray stone or something. So one person was going to join the winning tribe or something like that. That's what I thought.
Yeah, but they already had even numbers, so
yeah. So maybe if Jake had been there, that's how they would have managed that.
Maybe, yeah.
That is kind of shitty that they made the Dream Team set up the entire thing for.
Well, that's the thing. Right? Well, I imagine they potentially set up some of the stuff days before, so potentially it was already finished before Jake or it was confirmed that Jake was removed, and they were like, well, it's there, so we might as well use it. Would be
yesterday, right? Because this is the day after. This is the day after the last tribal, and Jake was removed in the same day.
I imagine they're setting up these stations. It's going to take more than a day to set up some of this stuff. So I wonder if it was just there, ready to go. They were going to have someone join the winning tribe. And they were like, well, we might as well use that space we're going to use anyway. And
of course, I didn't pay attention to the actual setup because I'm thinking now.
I didn't even see what
they used the same setup for the actual immunity challenge, but I don't think it was set up the exact same way.
It was like a 2v2v2, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, that wasn't what they did, obviously, because it was only 2 tribes.
I reckon it was a legit challenge that they didn't need to use because they had even.
But also, was it like complete BS what Jeff was saying? Yeah, like, oh, this was just a fake out. Like,
no, it wasn't a fake out. They're not.
I'm like, come on, Jeff.
That's expensive. That's expensive.
Yeah, like, what's the point of doing that? Like, really, you want to psych them out? You want to psych them out that badly? Really?
Yeah, you could have easily just had nothing set up except for the mats. And but all right. It's been a good one. Like we've all said, it kind of seems like the merge is going to happen in 2 weeks. So I think we're all looking forward to that because that gets us closer to 50. That gets us closer to Savannah or Rizzo winning. We're
just getting through it. We're just getting through it at this point. Is that right?
I don't hate the season or anything, but it's just this.
I don't think this is the worst New Era season.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. It's just, it feels like going through the motions, and it's probably because it's pre-merge.
It just sucks because I feel like there's some interesting people, and we just haven't gotten to see much of them.
Sophie. Well, who knows if she's interesting? She might be really boring.
Yeah. Who knows?
We need to know more about how she loves carbs and proteins instead of fruit. We need to hear
I appreciate the fact that you showed her on screen and asked who she was.
And Exactly. Thank you for at least letting us hear her speak. And I think, I'd like to see Sage at a tribal council. I think that would be interesting to see how that goes. Just her in a oh wait, I have to play the game and vote for somebody and convince people to do stuff, you know.
Probably,
but yeah, like we just haven't been able to see that. Haven't seen anything from Hina other than Jason and Matt, and we know how Jason plays the game, and I don't like it. So, yeah, we are just gonna have to wait to see what happens. I think the merge could also be like a Pagonging. I really think that like it could be Uli just taking out Hina, the former Hina, one by one. That's why I think they need to throw the challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will be back with you guys next week for for a recap of the next episode, potentially the penultimate before the merge. Subscribe to all the channels: YouTube, Instagram. Is that it?
Spotify.
On Spotify. Duh. Thank you both, as always, and we will see you all next week.
All right, bye.